Hey all, Siege here, and today I wanted to go over some other observations I made regarding the newest trailer for the new war, with some things it brought to light, to me at least, regarding what we were shown at TennoCon as well as the general story overall. Some of these things may end up turning out to be extremely significant, or they may end up being nothing at all, but regardless, I felt it was necessary to highlight some of it before the new war comes out, in order for some of you to have a few things to maybe keep your eye out for while playing the newest quest. And speaking of those eyes, the first thing of note is the eyes of the characters. It occurred to me in a previous video that a changing of eye color from either normal looking or white to red or orange is a common occurrence when it comes to many of the characters when they have some kind of change occur to them, or when they appear to at least be under someone else's influence. The Tenno regularly have it happen when the man in the wall possesses them. We see this during the Era cinematic when the Tenno are shown the scene with the Lotus and Era talking to Ballas aboard the sentient ship. Then there's Ballas's eyes that change to a red hue after being white once he's imprisoned by the sentients, as well as when he speaks to Umbra. The Lotus and the Tenno are all red-eyed when confronting Era when he's about to kill Varzia, and Era has these same eyes as well as the child from Cetus during the destruction of the Unum Tower. What's going on here? Why does it happen so frequently in these extremely important scenes? I'm inclined to believe that this is a product somehow of the man on the wall, but as of yet, we still haven't seen any definitive proof of that. And I'm left wondering, if it isn't the man on the wall, then is it all manifesting from the same entity? Different ones? Or is it just a really strange coincidence? During the newest trailer, it would appear that the sentients behind the Lotus, at least, also have these same red eyes, and if I might speculate a bit, I think this part where the Tenno is charging her Void Blast, in particular, is cut at a very strategic point. It's quite possible that even though the sentients seem to be with her, I wonder if the Tenno won't end up using this charge attack against the army of Battalists behind the Lotus, with this being the moment we free her from her forced involvement. Even if it does come to pass, it still won't explain, however, the red eyes, and I'm hoping during this mission we get some kind of acknowledgement regarding what might be going on here, or even better, who's actually doing it. I think it's important to note that the Lotus's eyes appear white here, different from when she was leading the aforementioned group of Tenno during the Old War. Does that mean anything? I don't know, but I think it's worth acknowledging. And speaking of the Lotus, if in fact she is Nata, and the Lotus was something the Orokin, or just Ballas in particular, made her become, why does she choose to keep Margulis' face in her sentient form, as well as the helmet of the Lotus, complete with the Lotus symbol? Wouldn't she abandon that sort of imagery if she wanted to remove that part of herself? In the newest trailer, we see her donning the outline of a Lotus on her head thing, and I think it's important to note that it wasn't there during the sacrifice. Is that significant? During the Nata quest, she specifically points out that she destroyed the idea of Nata and assumed the role of the Lotus, the mother. She couldn't bring herself to kill the Tenno before, and I don't believe she'll destroy us now. The question remains if I'm underestimating the power of the dark side here, but this part of the story very much seems to line up with the narrative in Star Wars regarding Luke and Darth Vader in many ways. Is this supposed to be a subtle hint to the Tenno that the Lotus, or even some aspect of Margulis, still lives within her? Personally, I believe the woman we see in the new trailer is absolutely Margulis, and my proof lies within the tiny freckle above both her and the Lotus's left eyebrow. I think it's obvious they look incredibly similar to begin with, but with Nata's face being separated at areas, it's hard to fully lock that down. That being said, I think this little detail seals it. So although I've heard quite a few people speculate that it could be the Tenno's mom, I disagree. I'm assuming this is aboard the Zeraman 10-0, presumably before the Tenno blinded Margulis, but I'm not sure, and I would be lying to say I didn't in part think this could be Nata after her taking on the Lotus's persona. After that point, this look appears to mimic what she appears as after her helmet was removed during the Apostasy prologue. So that will be something else I'm going to be watching out for. The newest trailer has me also speculating on what actually happened during the turning of Nata into the Lotus, and furthermore, why the sentients are warring against the Tenno. We know from the sacrifice quest that Ballas made a pact with the sentient Hunhao in order to give up the location of the reservoir. It's quite conceivable that Ballas was given the information of Natah's infiltration to destroy the Orokin leadership, and went along with this because of the Seven's decision to put Margulis, his love interest, to death for wanting to help the children of the Zariman 10-0 versus destroying them, as the Orokin wanted to do. It's possible this plan was concocted by Hunhao and Ballas together, and when Teshin makes mention of Natah being created for this purpose, he could mean quite literally. This could be the meaning behind the mysterious Orokin message that's seen when loading into certain missions, where it appears the message could be describing the Lotus being created or at least assimilated into the overall plan. It could very well be Ballas who's relaying the information back to Hunhao, or at least documenting the process, signed at the end with "Good night, sweet angel." I think if it turns out that this is actually Ballas, and he and Era are in league, the war on the Tenno could come merely from Ballas' severe hatred of them. He is seen many times wanting them dead and calling them demons, so in the end it could be his influence that is the cause of the new war overall. Personally, I'm still not convinced that this person is Ballas, as I've stated in previous videos, and upon reviewing the end of the sacrifice, I have to say he looks pretty dead there. But even if he is clinging to life, he's obviously went through some significant changes, and it's entirely possible I've been looking at this completely wrong, and that Era is the one puppeting him, something that might explain the whole eye thing again, changing permanently from white to red once he became an amalgam. If this scene in Cetus ends up showing some kind of mind control associated with those eyes, we could have the answer to a few of my questions already. And then there's the possibility that Natah and the Lotus, as well as Ballas and his amalgam, might be different entities altogether, as the scene from TennoCon visually depicts. Now, I feel like this was supposed to be more symbolic than literal, but given the changes in personality both seem to show, as well as mimics and mimicry becoming more common in the world of Warframe, along with Ballas now being called the Maker, I don't think it can be dismissed entirely at this point. Also, this Tenno that we see, is it the same Tenno from the Awakening quest? From what I can tell, it appears that they have the same color eyes, have the same decoration on the sides of their forehead, as well as a tiny scar, and just generally look very similar, although I think the Tenno in the Awakening quest is this Tenno as an older woman. I say this because of the wrinkles around the Tenno's eyes, as well as the existence of additional face tattoos. And if they are the same, who is this person? Are they someone of significance that we will eventually get to meet, or is this just a random Tenno? I would have said that this was just going to be the default Tenno used for quest trailers, but in the Duviri Paradox, we are shown a different Tenno, which could mean she has some special importance we have yet to learn about. And finally, will we get an appearance from the Man in the Wall? Given how it appears this quest will show a lot about the history of Warframe many of us have only been able to speculate about, I'm definitely wondering if we won't get an appearance from him in one way or another. If I was a betting man, I would be inclined to think that during the scenes we'll get from the Zariman 10-0 and what actually happened to turn the Tenno into void gods, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he shows up either here or as a type of post-credit reference after the quest is complete, much like he did at the end of the sacrifice. Yeah, I know, I probably include him way too much into my videos, but he's by far my favorite character in the game, so my bias towards wanting to see him more fleshed out probably influences me a bit too often at times. Then again, who knows? Regardless, I'm really excited to see if what, if anything I've theorized about will come to fruition. Most of it I still stand by, but there's definitely some things I've somewhat changed my opinion on, so I suppose we'll just see. But I don't regret any of it, as it's all allowed me to really enjoy the lore of the game and how it's presented to the player. I'm hoping the new war will continue on with that tradition of some really good storytelling because, in my opinion, the Second Dream, the War Within, the Sacrifice, the Chains of Hera, all of these had really engaging and incredible narratives, some of the best in gaming, at least in my opinion, and this quest looks to be potentially even more special than the rest, with an actual warning about mature themes the team at DE took the time to provide a notice for. And that type of real-life, hard-hitting and potentially emotionally compromising story is exactly what I'm drawn to. I want to feel these quests, and Warframe has done that many times for me, so that's kind of what I'm expecting. But how about you? Are there particular things you're looking to see? I'll be curious to read your comments on that one in particular. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope it gives you a few things to keep your eye out for when you finally get the chance to play it. As I said before, personally, I can't wait. At any rate, I hope you all have a wonderful day today, a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk at you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.